Hey, good afternoon and welcome to WSAZ Plus. My name is Tim Ear. I work here at WSAZ Channel 3. Thank you for your patience on the 2-minute countdown. We wanted to bring you an interview today with somebody who's very special to me because I got to meet Hope Rippey. It's been a couple of years, and when I first met Hope, it was by way of email, and Hope was telling me about her church that was over 200 years old, approaching 200 years. And I was like, wait, what? 200-year-old church right here in our region. We're not talking about Philadelphia or Boston or anything. We're talking about here in our region, in Appalachia. So I was fascinated, and she said, yeah, we've been hoping to maybe get, WSAZ out to do a story or whatever, and it hasn't happened. And I said, well, I'm going to do it because I'm wild about history. And so I came out and did the story, and I was blown away at I think the way I started the story out, the way I wrote it was, sometimes you just walk into a place and feel it. And you can feel it when you walk into Union Baptist Church in Black Fork, Ohio, in Lawrence County. It's a really, really special place. If you, when you're done watching this, if you want to go to WSAZ.com, just Google Union Baptist Church and Black Fork, Ohio, WSAZ, and our story comes up, and you can watch it there. It's really, really worth it. And if you get in touch with me, if that doesn't work for you, just get in touch with me here at the station, and I'll send you. I'll text you or email you a copy of it because I'm so strong in how spiritual that church was. It was truly a moving place. So we're joined now by Hope Rippey. And Hope, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time here and appreciate you coming in. There's another milestone that's coming up about this church. And this is something that I thought, again, should have happened a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what's coming up for your church and the recognition that it's about to get.
We were awarded through the National Park Service and the Underground Railroad Freedom Trail.
Yeah.
And that it will happen. That we've already got the letter stating that we were, inducted.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But in the spring is when we'll have the celebration, is what I'm told.
Okay.
It'll happen in the spring.
And this is it's a really big deal for people who don't understand what that trail consists of, mm-hmm. and how very few stops there are, especially here in our region. Mm-hmm. Describe the importance of getting on that list, and just from a pride standpoint, mm-hmm. Aside from the historical aspect, mm-hmm. what you all have at that church is something really unique. Macedonia Church in Lawrence County mm-hmm. Is older, is that correct? Uh-huh. But it is not an active church.
Correct.
You guys have service every week, mm-hmm. at least, mm-hmm. and it's an active church. Now there aren't, and admittedly, the population's getting a little older around Black Fork, mm-hmm. But your goal is to keep the church going.
Yes.
Talk about how important this is to be on this list.
Well, like you said, we just want to make sure that the church stays active. Yeah. Through the years, even if the doors were to close, right. It will still be preserved. Yeah. And on the little community that is attached to the church, they mm-hmm. call it Poke Patch. Yeah. That's also another important part of the Underground Railroad as well, because the slaves, they came from this area across to Ironton. Yeah. And then they were looking for Poke Patch. And that's where they found a settlement founded by John Stewart. Yeah. And he would take the slaves and put them up and take them into Berlin, Ohio, mm-hmm. or, further on where they could go up north to Canada. Yeah. So,
And this was pre-emancipation. So right. Clearly, exactly. These were people who, they're known as freedom seekers. Right. And these are people who had nowhere to go but freedom. And that's what they were after. Mm-hmm. A lot of people got caught.
Yes, they did.
And sent back, or worse. Right. And the brave ones, they're all brave for doing it, but the ones who were fortunate enough and blessed mm-hmm. enough to get through, mm-hmm. They made it here. Some of them, it was really interesting because when we went up to your church, mm-hmm. Jay Melvin, our photographer, and I, as we're up on this ridge, and you're looking out and you see, and then you realize, oh, well, we're here in Lawrence County, but across the river that way, when you go as the crow flies, is Mason County. It was Virginia at the time. It was before Civil War.
Exactly.
And so, it was, and there were quite a few slaves in that area.
There was a couple, they were the last ones known. It was a brother and sister, and they called it Big Bottom, Virginia.
Okay.
But it was now known as West Virginia.
Okay.
So they were the last ones to get caught, and I don't know what happened after, what their punishment was or anything, but you can about imagine.
Yeah,
So
you
there was a brother
you
and
can
sister.
imagine. What goes on at your church is, why do you think, and this is it's probably a tough question to answer, but that feeling that you get, that people get, like Jay and I felt when we walked in there, we're like, this is real. This is the real thing right here. Like, what is it about your church that do you think maybe it's because that it is, truly a spiritually blessed place? What makes it so special?
It's that everybody feels like, well, it is family,
Oh, sure,
Everyone in the
yeah.
church is just located,
Right.
We're all family, and everyone that's in the cemetery is all family.
That's true.
So we
There's a
try-
cemetery right there,
yes,
too.
So we try to project that onto people, and
Yeah.
just, feeling of togetherness and love.
I think that's probably it, is the family aspect of it. What will happen with this new recognition? When will it take place? And talk about what will happen. Do you all know? Have you all been briefed on what to expect as far as the ceremony, anything like that?
No, they just said in the spring. So
In the
that's-
spring.
Yeah.
That's about all they know.
That's
That's
all.
about all you know so far. So how excited are you
Pretty
personally?
excited.
Yeah.
Pretty
Because
excited.
you're kind of you got in touch with me, and people are, oh, ask Hope. Everybody says, ask Hope, ask Hope. You're
I'm just a member. I just wanted this to happen.
not.
I just wanted this to happen because I
Yeah.
had seen, Dr. Cicero Fain from Marshall. I had saw the piece that you all had done, and and then like you said, I corresponded with you, and it was just like, yeah, this belongs to the union.
What was the first story with Cicero that you saw?
Whenever you were over in Huntington, when they were first getting ready to get their,
Oh, when he was on that tour.
yes.
He had somebody who was available, but possibly might provide some funds coming in.
Yes.
She came in from D.C., I believe, and he was giving her the tour. That's right. Yeah, that was a fascinating. Dr. Cicero Fain, for those of you who haven't seen our coverage of him, he's a professor at Marshall University and history professor, and he is a major proponent of this. Have you? Did you talk to Cicero about this? Have you spoken with him about the
Yes.
church's desire to be part of this?
Yes, he and Professor Andrew Fout.
Oh yeah,
Shawnee,
from Shawnee State.
and Professor Andrea Frenay
Uh-huh.
from OU in Athens.
Yeah.
They all came out to the church, and we all met up after I got permission and everything to get, to make sure that everybody was on board with what was going to happen.
Yeah.
They came and they just did a little tour through the cemetery, and we had some papers and news and
Yeah.
clippings and things that we all shared.
Yeah.
Then I took them to a little ride over the hill to Poke Patch so they could see that area, to which nothing's there. There are a few houses, but it had nothing to do with the trail.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hung out that evening and got.
You know what else is really wild? When I was looking at some of the pictures that you gave to me. That one group of pictures that's taken in the woods, and it shows there are like cave formations, for lack of a better term, but there are rock formations that have like carvings out of them. And you said that that's where escaped slaves would often hide with people who were helping them get through. They'd hide and look out and make sure that the people who were trying to catch them
Yes, didn't see.
were far enough away. That's why. And that's all part of the. Is that going to be part of the history, or is that private property?
That's on private property.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
And, but that was just something that a friend allowed us to do. He took us around on it, but it was pretty fascinating to see.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, here's my petition to the private property owner to open it up and let that be part of it, because that's amazing. The pictures that came out of there.
It was.
It would really be an amazing part of. So when to be part of the Underground Railroad historic trail, does that mean people are going to be coming to your church more often? What does that? From what
Hopefully
you've
it'll
seen-
draw some more people to come in for attendance, or if they desire to join or whatever.
Yeah.
But
We have tourists. Does it become a tourist destination then?
that's my understanding, that it will be in the National Registry.
Yeah.
And that hopefully it will be toured.
Have you ever heard the discussion about Green Bottom? And Cicero and I were talking about this, and so was there were probably 4 or 5 other people who spoke about how interesting it would be if Green Bottom, which is close to the Mason County line in Cabell County, if Green Bottom, that area out there, which is home to an old slave owner's home, if that area could become eventually like something like Williamsburg, Virginia. Have you heard some of that discussion about that?
No,
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Would be.
And, the idea of, you'd think that the state government would be behind and municipalities would be behind something like that, because you think about what Williamsburg has done financially for that area around Virginia, that historic tourism. And there is a lot of discussion about historic tourism and how much it adds. I'm not saying that's going to happen at your church, but you still, that's
possibility.
It's recognition that's long overdue, don't you think?
Yes, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
We do because the church is 206 years old, and that alone is, a milestone.
Right. Yeah.
With, getting all this involved in on it.
Sure. Yeah. That's amazing. Appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this. I hope you keep in touch with me about, when the day is coming up, because I want to come and cover it. So.
Okay. Can I give a shout out to the National
You
Park
can give
Service?
a shout out to everybody. You go right
National
ahead.
Park Service, thank them. We so appreciate it on behalf of Union. And I'd like to thank Andrea Frenay. She was lead research
From the Park Service?
from the parks. Well, she's a professor at OU in Athens. And
She's the professor who came and visited?
Yes.
Okay.
She and Andrew Fout, Shawnee.
Yeah.
So they were major researchers in doing all this. And we are so thankful, so blessed to have them be.
Do you think they were surprised when they came to your church and they were like, were they kind of blown away like I was?
They
Like,
were.
whoa.
They were, because we found some things that was of interest to them and some treasures, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, this is good. So,
It's interesting. Your church gets a lot of financial help from people who don't live in the area anymore. I found that to be fascinating, in that you have people whose families and ancestors grew up in that area and lived in that area and attended church, and now they live elsewhere. They live in cities all over the country.
That's correct.
And they support their old ancestors' church.
They do.
That's unique.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
and that helps
Great.
keep things going, because it's not. If you haven't been there and you want to check it out, they would be more than welcome to welcome you on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's not some rickety old building that's 200 years old that's fallen apart. It's
It's well
been
kept up.
Yeah.
By, Deacon Kills and his wife Rosetta. They are.
Yeah.
They take care of everything and
Yeah.
keep the doors open, as I always say. Doors open and lights on. So.
Did he tell you I knocked on their door one time looking for directions? Did he tell you about that?
No.
A couple months ago, I was doing a story about the pig iron furnaces, and we did a history piece on that. And so I was going around, and I didn't know it was their house, that it was Deacon Kill's house. So I walk up and knock on the door, and they're like, "Hey, Tim, how you doing?" Like, what? But there they were, and they guided me over to they said, "Oh yeah, we know where that furnace is. It's down here, and it's some old pig iron furnace that's hidden in the woods." And so I found it there. And it was just amazing. Great people. And that's the thing. That's the theme of your church, is you have just a wonderful group of people that are so welcoming.
Yeah, that we try,
Yeah, hospitality and pride. That's all like full display right there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Hope, thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And keep in touch with us. And because, as I said, can't wait to see this thing go to fruition and be added. So that'll be coming up in the springtime. So there's the follow that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
Hope, thank you so much. Appreciate your time here. Join us at 4 o'clock here. It's 2:54 right now. So we have a 4 o'clock news coming up in just over an hour. Kimberly Kagi and I will then have Susan and I at 4, Kimberly Kagi and I at 5, and 5:30 and 6. And then I'm working night shift tonight. Back to the old shift. Yeah, Taylor's off, so they were like, could you do night shift? And I said, yeah. So if you see me falling asleep tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock, have mercy. So thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.